Fear will get the best of us. The sad story of Jaime Rae Feden. Hey there. Before we start, please take a moment to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Your help lets me keep telling stories that need to be heard. Thanks. In this example, we go to the United States in 2019, and it is still one of the most sadistic and disgusting things I have ever seen. This case is full of manipulation, lies, power, and cruelty. A situation in which love was used as a weapon and trust was used in the worst way possible. This is the story of Jaime Rae Feden. A hard childhood. Jaime Rae Feden was born on April 13, 1986, in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her life was hard from the very beginning. Jaime was born with VATER syndrome, a rare disorder that affects the spine, anus, trachea, esophagus, and kidneys, among other regions of the body. As a result of her disease, Jaime's growth was severely stunted. As an adult, she stood at roughly 4 feet tall. Her physical differences meant that she needed medical care and support throughout her life. But what made circumstances even more devastating was the emotional toll she faced. Her mother passed away when she was just 11 years old. After that sad loss, her extended family stepped in. Jaime's aunt became her primary caretaker and played a vital role in managing Jaime's physical and emotional requirements. Despite the difficulties, Jaime's spirit remained unbroken. Those close to her hailed her as the heart of their family. Her grandparents adored her, and everyone who knew her felt a natural impulse to protect and love her. Jaime was more than her diagnosis. She was brilliant, motivated, and kind. She attended a secondary school in Pittsburgh specifically for children with special needs and graduated in 2006. Her professors recalled her as industrious and proud of her accomplishments. Determined to gain independence, Jaime went on to get an associate degree in administrative medical assistance. She used her education to find a job at a nearby senior care facility, helping elderly residents with their everyday requirements. Her co-workers characterized her as quiet, compassionate, and always willing to lend a hand. For Jaime, her job wasn't simply work, it was a means to feel respected and connected to people. Her tiny and quiet voice often made her the subject of unwelcome attention from strangers, and she spoke openly about how hurtful it may be to be evaluated simply on her appearance. But she remained warm-hearted, trusting, and eager to build true relationships. It was during her early 20s that Jaime became engaged with a man who would change and end her life. His name was John Matthew Chapman. He was around 6 years older than Jaime, and they met through mutual contacts related to her special needs school. To Jaime, John was more than simply a friend. He was her boyfriend, her companion, and eventually the man she imagined she'd spend her life with. But for John, Jaime was nothing more than a pawn. Their relationship was volatile and destructive from the outset. Friends and family saw that John would disappear for extended periods and only emerge when he needed something, usually money. On one occasion, Jaime turned up to a bar to meet a friend with 2 black eyes. Her companion and the bar owner were enraged and forcibly chased John away. But despite these red signals, Jaime always forgave him. She regularly spoke of a future with him, potentially moving away, starting over, making a life together. Jaime's steadfast loyalty was heartbreaking. She believed he loved her, and when questioned by loved ones, she would instantly defend him, stating others just didn't understand him the way she did. In actuality, John Chapman was not simply abusive, he was leading a second life. During the decade-long on-again, off-again relationship with Jaime, he was married to 2 separate women. One of them, Kelly Murray, described him as a complete narcissist. During their marriage, he lied about being in the CIA while working as a CCTV installer. He was later arrested by the IRS for identity theft and filing scores of bogus tax forms, stealing almost $113,000 from the government. He faced nearly 500 years in prison and millions in penalties, although no public documents show how long he really served. After his marriage to Kelly ended, John married another lady named Maureen Chapman, all while continuing his deceptive connection with Jaime. In September of 2019, John suggested a road trip to Jaime. He spoke of visiting Las Vegas, browsing property listings, maybe even moving in together. He marketed the trip as the start of a new chapter in their lives. He even discussed creating S&M-style bondage videos for fun, a suggestion that may have appeared weird but wasn't particularly worrisome to Jaime, who wanted nothing more than his approval and love. Jaime agreed. She was hopeful. To her, this was the beginning of the life she had always dreamed of with John. But John had no intention of building a life with Jaime. Instead, he was preparing her death. Before departing, John borrowed a truck from his wife Maureen, claiming he needed to visit family in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. On September 23, he picked up Jaime and began the 2,000-mile trek to Nevada. They arrived in Las Vegas late on the 24th. On September 25th, John got Jaime to accompany him on a trip to a secluded spot in Lincoln County, Nevada, under the guise of filming a bondage-themed picture session with a scenic desert backdrop. Trusting him entirely, Jaime followed his directions. As they reached a desolate desert site, John urged Jaime to strip and stand beside a signpost. She complied, believing this was all part of their planned shoot. But what followed was not voluntary, nor playful. John shackled her wrists and ankles using zip ties, then tied her torso to the post. Then he brought out a roll of industrial-strength duct tape. At first, Jaime may have still felt it was part of the shoot. But then he began wrapping the tape over her mouth, her face, and proceeded until it covered her mouth and nose fully. Jaime couldn't breathe. She stared at him, possibly scared, trying to express distress. But John didn't stop. This was never about photography or intimacy. It was murder, plotted in frightening detail. He watched as she perished, chained and powerless in the Nevada heat. Once she died, he cut her loose, took a photo of her lifeless body as a perverse prize, and abandoned her there in the desert. John returned to Pennsylvania using the same vehicle and began disposing of Jaime's stuff along the road. He moved into her townhouse, accessed her money, and even impersonated her on Facebook Messenger, sending messages to friends and family saying she needed space. When Jaime's loved ones became suspicious, they created a test. A family member messaged Jaime, reporting that someone dear to her had passed away. The response: "I'm sorry, when did he die?" That was the final sign. The icy, distant tone was nothing like Jaime. A welfare check was requested. On November 14th, cops came at her townhouse. No one answered. Neighbors reported not seeing Jaime in months but had observed a man matching John's description coming and going. The police forced entry. Inside, they found horrible evidence: zip ties, duct tape, Jaime's laptop, her phone, and a death kit. The walls virtually shouted premeditation. John Chapman was arrested on November 15, 2019. He didn't resist. In fact, he confessed in terrifying detail. He told detectives how he brought Jaime to the desert under false pretenses, tied her to a signpost, taped over her mouth and nose, and watched her die. Around the same time, Nevada officials uncovered a body in the desert, found by an 8-year-old kid and his father. Dental records and tattoos proved what her family feared: it was Jaime Rae Feden. John's phone included a snapshot of Jaime's body tied to the signpost. Geolocation data matched the crime scene. Financial records showed he had been taking money from her accounts. He also performed frightening internet searches such as "dump body in Nevada," the exact night they arrived in Las Vegas. John traveled nearly 2,000 miles beside a woman who loved him, knowing he was going to kill her. For reasons unexplained, it took nearly 5 years until the case reached court. John Chapman was arrested in 2019, but his trial didn't begin until April 22, 2024. During the trial, prosecutors lay out an overwhelming body of evidence: the confession, the photo, GPS data, cash theft, and online searches. John's defense maintained that Jaime's death was an accident, a claim the jury didn't buy. On May 1, 2024, John was found guilty of first-degree kidnapping and murder. On August 2, he was condemned to life in jail without the possibility of parole. He exhibited no remorse, no apology, no regret. Remembering Jaime after her passing, Jaime's loved Jaime Rae Feden story is a terrible reminder of how vulnerable, trusting people can be targeted by those with the darkest of motives. She deserved love, protection, and respect, not the nightmare that ensued. Let us never forget her name, and may her story serve as a caution to protect those around us who could be at risk. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video, sharing it, and giving your views in the comments. What do you believe justice looks like in a scenario like this? Thank you for watching. Stay safe, be kind to one another, and remember, evil frequently hides in plain sight. I'll see you in the next one.